you probably couldn't have predicted when you signed the need for you.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Given, the Ben Simmons situation, Joel getting sick, you guys having to play a string of games, underhanded. But the thing that's been most impressive to me about your team this year is the depth and the bench unit. And the growth of Shake, the growth of Furkan, your own growth. Tyrese obviously is playing as a starter now. But it just seems like there's a lot of, despite the record, despite the Ben drama, and despite Joel being out, there's a lot of positive things happening on your team right now.
Yeah, guys have really been able to step in and develop into their own, which is, a credit to them, because I've seen it go the complete opposite way for some guys where, you get the opportunity and it's like 4 for 16 and you know what I mean? And you're like, we can't get this guy to dribble with his left hand, So it's actually great to see that, like guys like Shake, Furkan, Tyrese, me, even Matisse, like offensively, being more aggressive. I think, last year, what happened to them in the playoffs definitely left a sour taste in their mouth, and guys definitely came back prepared and were ready to make stuff happen this year. And it was good to see, because you can't really predict the COVID injury stuff. But God, we were. I remember looking in the locker room, being like, "So, who's playing today?" It was crazy. I mean, someone was out for contact tracing, someone was out with COVID, someone ran too hard in layup lines and their hamstring is sore. You're like, what's happening here? And then we strung together some wins on the road, and obviously we took our lumps, playing some good teams. But I think we came out better on the other end. That's for sure.
Has the Ben situation been a sort of a constant sort of distraction and tension? Obviously, at the beginning of the year, when it was on the news every day and talked about every day, and when he came to practice for those couple of days, I acknowledge that must have been a distraction. But just the underlying sort of day-to-day tension and acknowledgement of it, does that exist to a degree that it's a distraction?
Yo, the crazy part of it is so I've never played alongside him, so I don't know what it's like to have him in practice, like actually in practice. So like obviously those 3 days, like I remember being like, just like, it was hard for me to focus in practice, because I was like, all right, like what's about to happen here? And then eventually, like now it's obviously he addressed the team, and mentally he wasn't ready to play, or still isn't ready to play. But now it's kind of like we're focused on, all right, who's playing tonight? How are we gonna, get through tonight? And Doc's made a great point of just being like, hey, we're gonna take it, one battle at a time, one day at a time. This is who we have for today. This is how we're gonna make, whether it's for practice, shoot around, and I say practice loosely. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Once you get in season with Doc, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Life is an amazing place to be. Yeah, but and who's ever on the active roster to play that night, that's kind of how we're going about it this season. That's kind of the first time I've done that in my career. But I mean, it's worked out for us. Like you said, guys have stepped up, and it's been solid. But as for the distraction part, for me, it's not a distraction, because I don't know what it was like to play alongside. So without is like, I've never had experience too. So
yeah, there's no reference point. There's no reference point to that.